Hello, dear students. Welcome to the Bajirao IS Academy. Today is 15th December, and we are going to discuss the daily Hindu newspaper analysis. So, in today's session, we have to discuss three important articles, and the first article is related to Conference of Party 28. You know that recently this meeting concluded. So, we will discuss what were the achievements and what is the failure. Then further, we will move to the second article, which is related to authenticity crisis. You know that in the present digital world, fake news is spreading very fast with respect to the social media and the digital content. So, how this is creating distrust among the society and how we can deal with them, we will discuss in a great detail. Then further, we will shift to the third article where we will discuss India's stand on the Gaza with respect to the Israel Hamas war. So let's start without delaying, and if you are new to our YouTube channel, please do subscribe, share, and also spread with the friend circle. So now we are discussing the first article you can relate with GS paper 3. So when we talk about the conference of party, you know that the COP28 meeting was concluded in Dubai, the city of UAE, United Arab Emirates, and this meeting was occurring between 30th of November to 12th of December, but extra one day was gone and the meeting concluded on 13th of December. Okay, so basically in this meeting, what the global leaders do, they try to discuss how we can mitigate the rising global climate change and how we can do with the global warming. But you know, and also we have discussed on frequent article that there is only dialogue baji in this type of summit but no conclusion. Why? Because the interest of the developing nation and the developed nation changes here. Okay, with respect to the economic prospect, with respect to the financial support to be given to the developing nation from the developed country. Okay, so that's why the consensus reachment becomes very difficult, and in most of the summit this point gets reflected. Okay, and apart from that, this summit was also very important because in COP21 there was Paris climate change agreement done that targeted to limit the global warming up to 1.5 degrees Celsius. Okay, and there was provision that after every 5 years there will be like global stock take measurement. Now you should understand what do you mean by global stock take measurement. So here the countries need to judge, need to present the report that what the action they had taken to deal with the climate change, to deal with the global warming in their country. For example, like in India, we have the INDC, intended nationally determined contribution, where we have the Panch Mitra target of promoting renewable energy, of afforestation, and apart from that, we are like promoting clean energy. So we have the targets. Okay, so whether the nation had achieved the target or not, where they are lacking, and what practices we can adopt from other nation as well. So these were the important points to be discussed in the global stock take. Okay, so here the analysis of global stock take was done, and also there was another provision that countries would be required to submit the raised emission reduction target by mid 2025 for finalization at COP 30, because it needs to be reviewed after regular years. Okay, and let's say some countries are lacking very much, so they have to increase the target, they have to increase or boost the target for combating the global warming or the climate change. Otherwise there will be no solution. Climate change requires the concerning and collective effort to deal with that. Okay, so this was the point. But when we talk about the elimination or the reduction of global warming, so what is the most necessity thing to deal with that? Yes, fossil fuel. Okay, because you can understand that it is responsible for 75% of all greenhouse gas. and about 90% of global carbon dioxide emission. Okay, so if you want to deal with the climate change, fossil fuel needs to be eliminated, fossil fuel needs to be reduced. Okay, but when we talk about the practicality, so various nations are utilizing these fossil fuels for their economic benefits. Okay, for like earning money and also for their transportation purpose. So that's why the problem lies here, that although we made the commitment, but when it comes to the practicality, it have a lacuna. Okay, and this is one problem. And the another problem is like we can see here that currently when we talk about this summit, UAE, okay, so these are the country where the production of fossil fuel is in high amount, specifically the oil. Okay, and this is a dilemma that on the one side we want to deal with the climate change, and on the another side there is a summit which is going on in the country who is one of the biggest producer of fuel, fossil fuel. Okay, and apart from that, in this summit we have seen the influence of the oil industry. They try to influence their viewpoints. Okay, so that less restrictions or no restrictions should be there on these company. And this is this is visible from the fact that fossil fuel company had been steadily increasing their presence at the conference of party. And you can quote the data like in this summit COP28, the participation shot up to 2000. Okay, and when we talk about the successive global stock take, we have definitely told you about this global stock take. Okay, so draft was prepared, and this draft told that there is a need to have a deep, rapid, and sustained reduction in the global emission by 43% by 2030 and 60% by 2035 related to the 2019 level. That means we need the deep reduction, otherwise our target will be getting breached. Okay, we will not able to solve, we will not able to combat the increasing climate temperature. Okay, but there is a serious lacuna in this global stocktake draft. What is the lacunas? Lacunas means weakness. First of all, this draft talks about phase down of unabated coal power. That means whatever energy you are generating from the coal, whatever electricity you are generating from coal, or whatever the utilization of coal is, eliminate it, phase down it. Phase down means slowly you will like reduce the production and then you will eliminate it. That is the meaning of phase down. But what has been seen, like the developed nation also supported this phase down policy, but this can be a crisis for the developing nation, because developing nation is dependent hugely on these coal for the electricity generation. Okay, but when we talk about the developed nation like USA, they are mostly dependent on the natural gas, but natural gas is also a type of fossil fuel. Okay, they also emit the greenhouse gas, but here there was not restriction. Okay, and the door was left open for low carbon fuels, low emission technology, low carbon hydrogen, and transitional fuel, that is the natural fuel. Okay, so that means this concept is favoring the developed nation, not the developing nation. That is the first lacuna. The second lacuna is the carbon capture, utilization, storage. Various countries talked about that this technology should be adopted in various nations, but this is not have the commercial viability. Now understand what do you mean by carbon capture, utilization, and storage technology. In this, the carbon emission which occurs from the power plants, okay, they needs to be captured and then they needs to be stored underground or underneath the ocean. Okay, so that it should not be released into the atmosphere. So this was the another lacuna, that it does not have the commercial viability. Okay, and how much it is able to save the emission, it is also do not have the proper data. And apart from that, we have the financial support lacking. Although the developed nation try to make a commitment that we will give fund. Okay, like we have the fund target of 100 uh, billion dollar per year from 2020 onwards. Okay, So that commitment was not fulfilled by the developed nation. Okay, so these are the problems that arise, like financial support issue, the technology we have, and apart from the interest of the developed nation versus developing nation. Okay, so when we talk about conclusion, so in this session, in this conference, what we have seen, like there was debate and discussion but not proper outcome. Okay, almost the problems which needs to be addressed remain unaddressed. Okay, so there was no much improvement, there was not much progress here. And here one suggestion is also there, that COP meeting must use the climate science to promote justice and equity. Okay, and you know that as the time is lapsing, the window for dealing with the climate change is also shrinking, and we have to take the deeper action, we have to collaborate, we have to cooperate at the global level to find the solution of these climate change. Otherwise the impact on the developing nation is very busting, and this can lead to the crisis in the society, crisis among the people. That's all. That's the end of the article. Now we are shifting to the second article, and it is related to GS paper 3. Okay, and it is also very interesting article. You can understand. First of all, I ask you a question. What do you mean by authenticity? Okay, authenticity represents trust. Authenticity represents truth. Okay, like you have the government muhar on a page. Okay, that means that document is authenticated from the government, so you will believe on that document. Okay, like you submit various documents for your job application, so you give the form or you give the documents with the mindset that my document is right, my document is authenticate. But nowadays what we are seeing, that in this rising digital world and the rising social media world, the authenticity is getting compromised, the truth is getting compromised, and the false or the fake information is getting glorified. And with the help of social media, what we are seeing, that the fake news or the spread of the fake news just a fraction of second to be clicked on, and it is impacting the society, it is impacting the behavior of the people, and there is a deeper impact. Okay, like we have seen the recent incident of deep fake video viral in India of about certain actress or the actors. Okay, so that can also lead to the assassination of the character. Okay, character assassination. So that is the one point, and that can also go against the privacy as well. Apart from that, misinformation and disinformation is going to be the main thing or the main part of this fake news. And apart from that, the death of the trust is also there. And we know that a society, a nation is based on the trust of the people, trust of the authority, trust of the government. But if this trust gets malpracticed, if this trust gets affected due to the fake news or misinformation, so there can be the social issue, there can be the cohesion issue. Okay, so that is the deep problem arising due to the falsification of the information. Okay, and apart from that, there can be the change in behaviors of the voters, and they can manipulate the political results, they can affect the democracy as well. So there is a dimensions you need to explore, because the fake news has the different impact with respect to the different sector, and all can lead to the distrust among the society. So that is the point. And apart from that, we will discuss other things and what problems can it generate, but try to link with the coming artificial intelligence. And when we talk about artificial intelligence, what does it mean? That we are giving the thinking power to the machine. Okay, and suppose this machine is biased. Okay, and they can like manipulate the data easily for certain political favor, for certain party. Okay, so it can impact the whole population of a nation. Okay, and it can manipulate the psychological behavior of the people. And you know that a person, if gets psychologically affected, that means he or she can do anything given by the direction by the party. Okay, so that is the thing we need to understand. And this falsification or this thing has a evolving mechanism, and this gets influence either from external factor or the internal factor. And when we talk about external influence, so these are unavoidable. Okay, and whatever information you get from the social media to your WhatsApp, do you judge that whether that information is correct or incorrect? If you do not, that means you are just either transferring or spreading the false news. Okay, so before sharing certain information, there is a need to have a command over the righteousness of that information. Okay, so that is the thing. And with the coming of artificial intelligence, this prudence is becoming much more like spreading. Okay, and social media, it just takes seconds to share certain content, either it is video, audio, all of that. Okay, and it can impact millions of the people within a frame of second, and it can be very much delay if we try to curb that. Okay, so it is easier to spread misinformation, thus surrendering authenticity. And also the advancing technology is coming, so it is easier, less expensive, quicker to produce and distribute the fake content as well. And here in this article there is a talk about Mr. Trump, the former president of America. So you can compare that, what was the behavior or what was the like psychological perspective of Mr. Trump. Okay, and the perspective of the US society, that is liberal, that is democratic. Okay, so there was huge difference or the contrast between the perspective of that leader and the society. But despite that, Mr. Trump was able to win. So that may be due to the like application of the fake news that reflected the good personality of the Mr. Trump. And when he came to the real power, so the real objectives started coming out. Okay, so these are the examples you can understand. And also these are possessing deep challenges, like it does not wait for the time, just click and spread, it will be like in the masses within a few seconds. And there can be the identification crisis, how you can identify the fake news. Okay, and just from a second it gets spread to millions, how you can like eliminate or delete that video or that clip or that audio. Okay, and apart from that, there is a irreversible damage to the society. Okay, to the people, and there can be the spread of violence due to these type of fake news. And there is an important term here you should understand: info collapse. So info collapse can be related to the fake news similarly. Okay, and it can lead to biggest information and communication crisis in the world. Okay, and boundary between mainstream and social media is getting blurred. Okay, and when we talk about mainstream media, so you can trust the mainstream media because the content they delivers are based on the research, are based on the evidence. Okay, based on the public domain information from the government or the authority. But when we talk about social media, so like every person, you or me, can spread the knowledge, whether it is correct or not we do not check it, but we try to spread it. So the boundary is getting blurred, and sometimes the mainstream media also utilize the social media for their content, for their information, without checking, without fact finding thing. Okay, and there can be the deeper impact on the society, and there can be the possibility of liar's dividend. So liar's dividend means the person or the community who is trying to spread the fake news, they are in the benefit mode, because these type of information or the news gets spreaded rapidly. Look at the example of the actress, that deep fake video got viral. So what does it represent? Okay, the liars will get benefited in the coming time, and the truth may get like buried inside the falsification thing. Okay, and researchers and generals, they write editorial. Okay, like we read the newspaper on the daily basis, these are written by the experts, the research analyst. Okay, and suppose with the coming of artificial intelligence, these editorials and articles are being written by these artificial intelligence. So maybe in that article or the editorial there can be the biasness, there can be the data manipulation. Okay, so these things may come in the coming future. So that is the thing, and hence there is a need to have a awareness in the masses. There is a need to have a clarification from right to wrong, love and hate, war and peace, and we should not become more and more hazy, okay, in this type of issue. And like we are living in post truth era. Tell me, what do you mean by the post truth era? Try to break down this word: post, then truth, then era. Era means time, post means that has been already spent, and truth means the truth. Okay, so now we are shifting to the last article, and you can relate with the GS paper too. Okay, so first of all, on October 7, okay, you know that the Hamas attacked Israel via a spread of more than 5,000 rockets, and this caused lots of damage to Israel, the credibility of Israel. Okay, and hence Israel counterattacked Hamas, and after that Israel launched mission against the Hamas, and now we are seeing that almost 2 months already passed since the counterattack, but the war is not going to be ended soon. Okay, so this is the thing. But what we have observed, that what was the objective of Israel's counterattack? Like to end Hamas counterfeit, number one. Then another was like releasing the hostages as soon as the possible. But what we are seeing, that Israel's stand on its aim and objective is being diverted. Like they are trying to like capture the Gaza or making presence in the Gaza, and this is like leading to humanitarian crisis, the loss of the lives the people is facing, the food, the living rights, they are in the crisis. Okay, so that is not the good thing. And here we will talk about with respect to India's perspective. So where here we have to understand that when this attack was launched, okay, so India at that time supported Israel, that we are against the terrorism and we will fight against the terrorism. Okay, so that time India started supporting Israel. Okay, and how we understand that whether India is supporting or whether India is against, so the better platform to understand the viewpoint is via United Nations General Assembly resolution. Okay, if certain resolution is being discussed and let's say India vote in favor, that means we are supporting that cause. And if like against that resolution, that means we are against that. And if we are like abstaining from voting, that means we are trying to balance our perspective. Okay, neither in the support, neither in the against. So here initially when this counterattack was launched, india supported Israel, that okay. But slowly we have seen that India's stand changed. How it changed? Like when the first United Nations General Resolution was discussed on October 26. Remember this date, October 26. It was like just 2 weeks ahead of the Hamas attack. Okay, so that time there was a death of 8,000 people in Gaza. So that time India do not voted. They abstained from voting. That means no vote. Okay, and that resolution was about like ceasefire, bringing a ceasefire so that the war can be ended and the humanitarian crisis can be ended. Okay, but India abstained. But now what we are seeing, that again a resolution in the United Nations General Assembly is being discussed and being passed on December 12. About 152 countries supported this resolution that talks about stopping the bombing, humanitarian ceasefire, unconditional release of all hostages. But here India supported. Okay, so that reflects the shift from the previous stand of India. Okay, so that is the thing. But why this shift? So We have to understand that India and Israel have a good relationship. Okay, but that doesn't mean that India and Palestine do not have the bad relationship. Although we try to maintain neutrality here, we try to cooperate with both these groups. And hence, traditionally, India's stand was like to bring peace in the West Asia. And in the previous article, we have also discussed that how India's foreign policy has shifted from the past to the present, whether it is respect to Israel, whether it is respect to the West Asia, whether it is respect to the US and the China. So our foreign policy is also changing, dynamic in nature. Okay, so why this change was observed in India regarding this Israel Hamas stand? So first of all, India may have observed that the casualty, the loss of the lives in Gaza have risen relentlessly, with 18,000 dead along with more than 18% of the entire population is homeless. And also, Israeli Defense Force have gone far beyond their original mandate, we have already discussed, because they earlier talked about eliminating Hamas and freeing the hostage, but it seems like they are expanding their horizon. And apart from that, the biggest thing the article is observing like global opinion. So initially, global nations developing or the developed nation was supporting Israel. Okay, but now the killings of these like people, okay, innocent people, and the emotions getting generated like they are becoming counter against Israel action. Okay, and maybe the Indian public opinion may be feeling that thing, that emotion, and hence India decided that we will take a stand. We will like try to raise voice against the humanitarian crisis. Okay, so that is the point. And also, there is a need that India must take a more vocal position on Gaza with Israel, because both these nations are good friend. Okay, and India can talk with Israel to have a ceasefire, to have an end of the humanitarian crisis. So that's the end of the article, friend. Hope you understood. And now we have the question for the prelims. This is the previous year question. You should pause the video and try to solve the question and answer this question in the chat box. So this will help you to revise the question. Okay. So thank you, friends. This is end of the session. We'll meet again with the next sort of session. Thank you.